This video presents content from Chapter 6 of the book Sustainable Living and World Peace, from a section entitled Forest Products and Forested Land. While the use of forest products as a renewable bio-based resource has great potential in the perpetual supply of useful materials for humanity, there are also a countless number of ways to misuse this resource and watch its sustainable supplying abilities diminish over time. In our efforts to produce forest products, we must keep in mind that there are methods to produce these products effectively so that both timber supply and ecosystems are sustained. We hear news and can find data on the amount of forested areas being lost or gained in different parts of the world. Unfortunately, the areas of forest that are currently in decline are mostly in areas of great biodiversity, while reforestation often means monoculture plantings of trees that do not end up resembling ecosystems that were lost. Not only must we concern ourselves with the quantity of forests on Earth and their distribution around the world, we must also look at the quality of forests that remain or are being reestablished. Countries like the United States and China are making great efforts to plant trees in reestablished forested areas, although not always of the same ecological quality as what was lost. This is a great success story considering all the products that we gain from forests, and it is much better news than hearing about the continued loss of forested land. Even so, we should not forget that to a certain extent, we might be able to reestablish ecological functions while still planning on future harvests from newly reforested areas. With proper management, plantation forestry can be more productive in providing wood and other forestry products than natural areas. Nevertheless, we can still apply our understanding of the lost ecosystems and the needs of wildlife to add quality to the quantity of forested land we reestablish. Realize that while forestry products are a renewable resource when productive forests are properly managed, ecosystems are ultimately best established and renewed through natural processes rather than trying to recreate them through human efforts. We can replant trees, but we cannot simply replant and engineer an ecosystem so easily. If we attempt to replant or restore a deforested area or ecosystem, we need to question if it will end up being the same as before or perform the exact same ecological functions that were present in the natural system. In our quest to utilize resources for human purposes and benefits, we must use our best scientific understandings of the time to ensure that we maintain or reestablish locations' ecological functions. For the benefit of people and all of life indefinitely into the future, we need to ensure that both forest product production and ecosystems can continue without diminishment of their source of productivity or their overall quality. Recycling does help in providing a more sustainable supply of forestry products while potentially eliminating waste. However, paper products can generally only be recycled about 5 to 7 times before their fibers become too small to be used again for paper. Therefore, it is imperative that our production methods for wood and paper products be sustainable, since we cannot count on recycling for all of our needs. The loss of natural forested areas and ecosystems continues at a fast pace due to the conversion of these lands and poor land management. Consumers continue to unwittingly receive products from sources that are willing to take wood from areas or deforest land unsustainably. The world has already lost approximately 45% of once forested areas since the dawn of human civilization. Areas of the world that continue to decrease their forest cover are simply depleting a natural and economically valuable stock and calling it growth. This is not sustainable, and it is not growth. Depleting a resource like this will bring a day of reckoning when the finite amount of forested area becomes prohibitively scarce, thus greatly affecting its ability to provide adequate functions and value. This results in a reduction of opportunities for humans or chances to gain comparable value from these areas in the same way again. Lebanon cedars at one point seem to have been plentiful based on how they are referenced in the Bible and what we know they have been used for in the past. Natural areas of Lebanon cedars occupy a much more restricted area today, since the land itself has been degraded because of the way the cedars were harvested in the past. Continued logging that results in degraded land occurs in many areas of the world without a sustainable plan. This type of forestry and unsustainable harvesting must be discouraged by consumers and eliminated by suppliers. Unfortunately, the harvesting of trees and the conversion of natural areas to tree plantations and agriculture in areas of Asia and South America result in the continued loss of some of the most biologically diverse terrestrial systems on Earth. Actually, many of these deforested areas will end up serving to graze livestock or grow crops. The conversion of forested land into agriculture in these areas is another great source of deforestation that consumers need to be mindful of. As consumers of paper products and tree-derived products potentially obtained from converted land, we need to hold producers to standards that can be verified. If we do not, then we are also responsible for an unnecessary loss of resource potential, life, and diversity. Being the professionals in the field, the producers should also be motivated by virtue to responsibly originate products with the most sustainable methods known by their industry. Although recycling is necessary to increase utility of this resource, and any resource, we will still need new forest product supply for new economic growth. Proper silviculture and harvesting methods should be utilized no matter where forestry products are collected to ensure that ecosystems and nature are conserved in our quest to obtain opportunity and value from the earth. To move us toward sustainability, there are some helpful eco-labels that we should be on the lookout for that let us know when methods of sustainable forestry production were used in the growing and harvesting of trees. The eco-labels Forestry Stewardship Council, or FSC, and Sustainable Forestry Initiative, or SFI, are two good and popular forest product eco-labels. Both have good certification processes, but there is a perception that the FSC is more rigorous and does not allow as much conversion of land into tree plantations. Tree plantations can definitely be a part of overall sustainable forestry practices, especially since they can be highly productive. However, it is an unsustainable practice to short-sightedly continue the conversion of natural forested areas into tree plantations indefinitely. Not converting natural areas into tree plantations allows for maintaining more natural woodlands while still being able to harvest sustainably from productive forests. Even though recycling is not going to completely solve our sustainability issues, it is good to look for paper products with a high recycled content. Otherwise, when purchasing paper or other wood products, it is best to look for either FSC or SFI eco-labels and ask your retailer to carry them if you do not see them on the shelf.